going on, guys? MariK here, back with another Dragon Ball Super video. During the event over this past weekend, Bandai revealed to us a few new cards coming out in the promo set, and we've got some more multicolored Awakened Surge leaders coming up. And I gotta say, this new type of leader is really intriguing, and I really like how they're taking it. But let's go ahead and see just how good these new cards are going to be. So first up, we've got an Awakened Surge Broly leader. He's going to be red-green. His auto says once per turn, when you combo with a red or green card, draw one card. That's not too great to me. I kind of like the Piccolo and the Goku's abilities a bit better. His Awakened Surge says choose one red card and one green card in your hand. Place them under this card. You may draw two cards, then choose two of your energy, switch them to active mode, and flip this card over into Broly Surge of Brutality. His Activate Battle says, once per turn, if your life is at 3 or less, and you choose one card under this card and place it in your drop area, choose one of the following abilities, choose up to one battle card in your drop area, combo with it, and then this card gains double strike for the duration of the turn, or choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and KO it. Not anything too grand. In my opinion, I still think the other two that we've seen so far are better. Giving himself double strikes, not really that big of a deal. Letting him, combo with a card in your drop area is pretty good, though. You could combo with, a super combo, and that's 25,000 double strike, plus you're drawing a card, so that's not bad. And then getting just to get a free KO is again, it's okay. It ignores barrier, which is the good part about it, and it doesn't have a energy or power restriction, so that's not bad. But overall, I feel like this leader is still just not as good as the other two leaders that we've seen so far. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Up next, we've got a blue-yellow Surge leader. It's going to be Kefla. Her Activate main says, once per turn, choose up to one blue or yellow Universe 6 card with energy cost of 2 or less from your hand and play it. So once per turn, you get a free play. That's not bad. It kind of, lets you go ahead and get your Universe 6 plays going, but not getting to really generate any card advantage compared to the other leaders is kind of lackluster. Her Awakened Surge says choose a blue and a yellow card in your hand, place them under this card, you may draw 4 cards and flip this card over. So you're getting that +2, no energy that you're getting to switch to active mode though, which, so again, kind of a little lackluster to me. And then Kefla Surge of Ferocity. Her Activate main says once per turn, if your life is at 4 or less and you choose a card underneath this card placed in the drop area, you can draw one card, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of the owner's deck. That's pretty cool. Or, at the beginning of your opponent's next main phase, choose up to 3 multicolored cards in your drop area and add them to your hand. Also super powerful. That gets you a pretty good plus in card advantage, and also getting to bounce a card back to the bottom of your owner's deck and draw a card is pretty powerful. And the Awakened side is much better, in my opinion. I do really like this one. I feel like the Kefla is better than the Broly, but I'm still really, really partial to the Piccolo leader myself. Up next, we have 2 different cards here. We've got Broly, Crown of Retribution. He's a 1-cost 4,000. His auto says, if your leader card is red, when you play this card from your hand, if your opponent has 2 or more energy in active mode, your opponent reveals their hand, and you choose up to 1 battle card from it with 20,000 power or less and place it in the opponent's drop area. So, Broly kind of sets your opponent up for failure if they have that active energy open for counter plays, or forcing you to have to counterplay this Broly to be able to prevent his ability from kicking in. So it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. You either have to waste your counterplay, or they're going to dig into your hand. They're going to see everything in your hand, and they're going to pitch one of your cards. Now, on the other side, we have Son Goten, Awakening the Beast. He's a 1-cost 5,000 power. Says if your leader card is a red Broly card, when you play this card, choose up to 1 dormant legend from your deck, activate it, and then shuffle your deck. So, this is specifically geared towards the Set 7 red Broly leader. As it's not going to do much for the red Broly leader that we just revealed, not off the top of my head anyways, so I don't really like this card too much. I mean, it brings out the field card, but that's also not doing a whole lot for you, because when you play him, the field card's going to come out anyways, so as soon as you put the leader into your leader's zone, the field card's out there. This is just kind of like it's extra security for if your opponent is playing field removal, but at the same time, you want the dormant legend in your drop area so that you can trigger your red and green Broly ability. So I'm not really sure how great this card's going to be, unless it's just to bring out a second dormant legend so you can use its abilities while it's on the board and in the drop, but that just seems like a bit much for too little in my opinion. Up next we have Kefla, Spunky Allure, and Kale, Enigmatic Beauty. They're both 2 cost, 9,000 power. Kefla's auto says when you play this card, draw 1 card, and when this card is placed under another card by union, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and switch it to rest mode. So, perfect for the new Surge Awaken Leader's ability, and if you're going to be fusing for Kefla, and this would take any card your opponent has, put it in rest mode. That's a pretty powerful ability. Then we have the Kale. Her auto says, when you play this card, choose up to 3 blue or yellow Kefla or Kaba cards in your drop area with an energy cost of 2 or less and shuffle them into your deck. So it's going to kind of give you a little bit more cards in your deck for you to be able to reuse them. And then when this card is placed under another card by union, activate this skill. At the beginning of your opponent's next main phase, choose up to 1 of your blue energy and switch it to active mode. I mean, that's not terrible. Ideally, it seems like they want you to use both this Kefla and this Kale to union into Kefla, which, I mean, getting them both on the board is not going to be that difficult, but you're not getting a whole lot out of it. You get to draw a card, get to put a couple cards back in your deck. You can KO a card, or you can put a card in rest mode so you can KO it on your next turn, which is pretty good. And then you get an energy to active mode for defense. So, not a terrible combination, but at most it seems like this is just going to give you an easy way to get rid of a problematic card on your opponent's side of the board. Then we've got Broly, Dimensional Punisher, and Kefla, Everlasting Light. Broly's a 4 cost 20,000. His permanent says, when this card is placed in a drop area from a combo area, it is sent to its owner's warp instead. His activate battle says, for 1 green energy, if your leader card is red, combo with this card from your battle area or drop area. So, I mean, you can combo with it from wherever you want to. It's, plus 10,000 power, but it going to the warp instead of the drop, I'm not really sure I see the benefit to that. The Kefla, on the other hand, is an 8 cost, 30,000. Union Patara for 1 blue and 1 yellow on a blue Kale and a yellow Kefla. It does not matter their power or their energy cost. Their auto says, at the end of your turn, switch this card to active mode. So using this in tandem with the new Kale and Kefla, you can put one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and then run it over with this Kefla and then put it back to active mode so that it is protected. The permanent says, when this card would be removed from a battle area by your opponent's skill, you may choose 1 multicolored card in your hand and place it in the drop area instead. That being a permanent and also not being once per turn means you can keep doing that. So she's gonna stick around for a little while, especially because there are Universe 6 cards that add cards from the drop back to your hand, and also you've got the leader's ability itself that lets you add 3 cards from the drop back to your hand, which then would go along with keeping this Kefla alive. So that's pretty cool. I do like that a lot. I'm just really not sure what you're supposed to do with this Broly that makes it worthwhile, because unless I'm missing something, it just seems really, really subpar. Then, lastly, we have Brace for Impact and Tormenting Reprisal. Brace for Impact is a 2-cost blue-yellow. Its activate battle says, choose up to 1 of your battle cards or leader cards. It gains plus 15,000 power for the duration of the battle. Choose up to 1 of your energy and switch it to active mode. Then choose up to 1 of your battle cards, and it gains blocker for the duration of the turn. That's a lot of shit. So, you give yourself a blocker for the turn. Whatever is being attacked at the time, you get 15,000 power to survive that hit. You've got an energy in active mode for either for comboing or countering. It's a lot of stuff going on, but it's not a terrible card overall. Then we've got Tormenting Reprisal. Is a 2-cost red-green. Activate battle says choose up to 1 of your battle cards or leader cards. It gets plus 15,000 for the duration of the battle. If your opponent has 2 or more energy than you, choose up to 1 of your opponent's energy and place it in the owner's drop area. So that's good for countering ramp decks, or if you're running some weird ass shit that's putting your own energy in the drop area. It'd be a way to kind of, kick your opponent's energy down, prevent them from getting enough energy to play their bigger cards. I personally think Brace for Impact is a better card overall, but Tormenting Reprisal can be a good card if enough ramp decks start to kind of infest the meta. Then this would be a really good card to kind of go against that. But we do have a lot of other cards that help with that as well. If you're playing, obviously, you'd have to run red-green to play this, so you couldn't play blue for the Piccolo from World Tournament, but you could still play the Mass Saiyan, and I mean, it's another option. It's another option, so that's a good thing. Not a bad card. I still think the Brace for Impact is a better card, though. But that's going to wrap it up for this event's reveals. Like I said, honestly, some of these cards are pretty good. I'm really not sure about that 4-drop Broly. I'm not sure what you're really supposed to do with him. The Surge Broly leader is not terrible. Getting the free KO against barrier cards is really powerful. But the combo and double strike ability is not bad either, but it's really only good as a finisher if you're using that in the final turn, in my personal opinion. The Brace for Impact card's really good. Tormenting Reprisal is more of a like counter card specifically geared towards all the ramp stuff. The new Kale and Kefla are pretty solid as far as, trying to get cheap Kale and Keflas on the board for the Union Patara for Kefla, although I think there's actually easier ways to do that. Honestly, one of the best cards might be that 1-drop Broly, the Crown of Retribution. That's a really, really solid card for being able to tip the balance in your favor when your opponent is sitting ready with a nice counter card to be able to hit you. The Sun Goten, I don't really understand the point of that card, though. I mean, I get it. I understand what it does, but I'm not really seeing the benefit of playing that card over several other cards that you could play. And then we've got the Kefla leader, which is fairly solid. I do like its awakened abilities, and being able to use that in tandem with that nigh invincible Kefla, as long as you have the cards to pitch for it, or the Kefla, I'm sorry. That's pretty cool, and I do like the synergy there. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think any of these cards are really going to have an impact? And what do you think about Surge as just in leader awaken ability in general? Again, I still think the Goku and the Piccolo that we've seen that come in the expansion are better, but let me know what you guys think about those. With that, we're going to go ahead and get the frick out of here, and we'll see you guys in the next video.